Pep one.
Yeah, I would have liked to win 16, but unfortunately we couldn't do that. But for us, it's not about that. It's about the next game. It's irrelevant what we've done so far. It's about the next one and what we can do going forward. So we want to keep improving. There's still a lot of room for improvement. We want to keep going right until the very end.
Well done today, chaps.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
Relevant what we've done so far. That's the mindset of this team, Jason. Not happy that it wasn't a perfect record either. That's the level that they're now, excuse me, now working to.
Yeah, and I mean, we got the clean sheet as well today. You were seeing how frustrated we were when we conceded against Everton. You can see it's playing on the players' minds because everyone's kind of talking about it. We're all waxing lyrical about how good they are scoring goals and finishing teams off and how resilient they are and coming from behind and scoring late goals. But also defensively, it's being questioned. You know, it was 13 games without a clean sheet. The frustration was there. So today they've got that monkey off the back as well, and now that's something to build on. As defenders, you get your first, you want to do it again and again, like they did last season. As much as winning games and scoring goals becomes a habit, so is keeping clean sheets, and it was fantastic. But yeah, I thought Jordan Henderson, I think you were spot on in commentary. I thought he was different class today. Real captain's performance. He kept everything tight. His pass for the first goal was brilliant, and it looks like it's something that Liverpool have worked on over the last couple of games, this ball, because they've done Everton, you know, 5 or 6 times the other night. Today, you know, he's got Oxlade-Chamberlain in. I think that's down to maybe, there's a couple of ways of playing against Liverpool. You play a high line, which you condense the pitch and you try and compete in Liverpool's half, win the ball back and press and create chances. Or you drop deep, you stay compact and you invite them on, but you defend the pressure and you stop them scoring goals. I think the last 2 games we've seen Bournemouth and Everton play a high line to condense the pitch. But today, Liverpool, because they had so much space, certainly Henderson on the ball, he was allowed to pick that pass, and it was a great run from him.
Across that long and that far, surely your keeper's got to be higher up the pitch and not on the edge of his box. Steve,
but if you think where the run's made from,
yeah,
your argument's right, because the keeper should be higher up, shouldn't he?
Yeah.
It's not like they're sitting on the 18-yard box, or they're sitting, you know, I don't know, where was it? Probably just midway in the half.
Yeah. So it's
your keeper.
Again, I think it's the way Liverpool have played. They've mixed it up really well, because you think of the opportunities before that. You think of Keita and Oxlade-Chamberlain getting in between the lines. So everyone thinks, well, we'll press that, we'll come up nice and high and we'll try and stop them getting in there. Then it creates that ball over the top as well.
That's a really encouraging thing moving forward, isn't it, Jason? Because you can see that the team is evolving, adapting, and not just being content. We've won all these games. We need to look at other ways to playing games and vary what we do.
It's all right evolving and adapting, but you've got to have the quality to execute.
Yeah.
You know what you're trying to do. You know, you look at the. We talk about how poor the defending was from Everton, but how good was Origi's touch? How good was Mane's touch? You know, the execution of the pass, Trent's pass to him the other night. You know, Henderson's pass today. You know, you've got to have the quality to be able to do that, see it and execute it, and then the receiving player's got to have the quality then to bring it down and set himself up. You know, we're taking for granted pieces of skill, which is fantastic. You know, we're actually taking it for granted.
It's because they make it look easy.
So easy. Yeah, that's what's happening.
Yeah, some fabulous players in the team and turning it on of late. OK, time for a short break. More reaction to come from down on the South Coast and more from the boys in the studio as well. I'll see you in a couple of minutes. Welcome back to the show. It's been a good day for Liverpool. A 3-0 win at Bournemouth, extending their lead at the top of the Premier League table. We'll get more from Stephen Warnock and Jason McAteer shortly. But first, let's head down to the stadium and hear from the thoughts of Jurgen there, speaking to Rob down at the Vitality. Yeah, nice to see Curtis Jones come on. What is that like when you're an academy player, Stephen, and you get that opportunity? Something you've been working for, something you've been close to, and finally you get that Premier League appearance.
It's so satisfying. I think when you're on the bench and you don't get on, you're thinking, have I missed my opportunity, or when's it going to come? He'll have felt today that it would have been a good opportunity with Gini and Adam not being in the squad, playing a Bournemouth team who weren't in great form, so he probably would have thought, if we can go 3-4-0 up, then there's an opportunity for me. As soon as you go 3-0 up, get yourself out running up and down that touchline.
In the eye line of the manager to give him
100%. You have to. You have to make it known to him that you want to get on the pitch, because he'll be looking down thinking, who wants to get on here? And if you're doing your warm-up properly and you're really into it, and he's thinking he's as well, I thought he was brilliant when he come on as well.
Yeah, really talented player, so much expected of him. This was another step forward for him, and it could be very useful for us. We look at the schedule that we've got coming up. We spoke about it in depth before the match today, Jason. It's such a busy, congested December into January. We will need the squad at its biggest, fullest, the most bodies to call on.
We identified that around September, didn't we? Yeah, you know, the Carabao Cup was obviously disappointing. The fact that, you know, we couldn't have been helped out in some way, but it is what it is, and we've got to go and play it. Salzburg, massive game. Unfortunately, we couldn't get over the line against Napoli, which would have been nice because we could have had the luxury of resting players. Maybe Curtis then could have come in. Curtis Jones another game there. But yeah, Watford, new manager. They're going to look for a bounce, aren't they? But I was just saying to Stephen there, you know, it's funny how things do pan out. You know, we've played Everton midweek there when they're on the brink of sacking the manager. There's no, you know, desire and hunger, which they got today with Duncan Ferguson being in charge of Chelsea. It could have been so different had they changed the manager before our game, but we get them at a great time. We go to Bournemouth, only 1 win in 10, we get them at a great time. But then a couple of games which could be tricky. Obviously the Salzburg game, they'll feel at home as an opportunity. Watford, new manager, bounce in the dressing room, that could be tricky. Then we go to Qatar, which I think they will take advantage of. Now they're going for a week. It seems to me that the weather's perfect there at the minute. It could be a bit of warm weather training, obviously with the 2 games involved as well. That'll be nice to win. And then we've got, you know, Leicester on Boxing Day, which is a massive game because you want to extend that gap as far as you can between. They're becoming realistic challenges now. You want to extend that gap, so there's some tricky games in there.
You look at the League Cup game, you look at Curtis Jones Day, every chance he will play in that game. He could potentially be captain when you look at the players who are available. He's one of the most experienced guys in there. Minutes today could be of real use for him with that coming up, because that's going to be a really testing occasion under the lights at Villa Park against a full-strength Premier League side. Yeah,
he has to look at that game and think it's an opportunity for him to, like you say, be the captain or to be an influential player on that game. I'd be thinking a different way though. I'd be thinking I need to prepare myself for Qatar because there could be injuries and there's an opportunity that I could be going there. So I'd have that in the back of my mind as well, aiming bigger, but knowing that you're going to be a key player at Aston Villa if not called upon for Qatar.
I think, just to touch on Curtis Jones, I think it's vital team games because you're so close. Him being involved in that squad today, travelling, going down with Bournemouth, you know, being on the plane with them, being in that environment, seeing how Jordan Henderson and James Milner react in the dressing room, how they prepare, you know, the warm-up, then getting on in minutes and seeing what Milner demands or Henderson demands or Van Dijk demands, talking, you know, just the speed of the way they play. You know, all of a sudden he's not that big player like he is in the 23s. He's this young kid trying to impress, and you've got to handle that. You've got to handle the fact that there's no room for error in that first team because they're trying to win the league. You know, 23s, if you get beat, yeah, it's disappointing, but it's not as bad as getting beat as what it is in the first team. You know, so it's very important that for his first team development he's involved in that situation, because 23s only takes you so far.
And there's lessons there that he can pass on if he is one of the senior figures in that dressing room, if he plays at Villa Park, you know, the way he acts in front of some of the younger guys.
Oh, that's massive. That's one of the biggest things that you have to do then. You have to take that responsibility on yourself to say, almost like you're mirror imaging what the first team players do, and that's what they do, and you have to sort of have that mentality and then broad shoulders to take that on as well.
Yeah, the good news out of the Vitality this evening is regarding the fitness of players. Gini Wijnaldum expected to be available for Tuesday's game away at Salzburg, a vital game. Of course, it's something we need to take something from the game, sorry, and also Dejan Lovren, a severe cramp, so that would indicate that's dehydration, it's illness, it's not a long-term injury.
He'd salt on his chips on the way home.
Exactly, there you go. Salt on the chips. That'll get it going. Stretch it out. He'll be back next week.
Fish and chips, chicken and chips, or pie and chips, wasn't it? Loads of salt. Loads of salt. What it was in our day.
What would you choose?
I was always a fish and chip man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
See, even then, an athlete, you knew deep down that the fish was the better option.
That's what we had on the way home on the bus, wasn't it? Fish and chips, pie and chips. I don't know why I keep looking at him. He was on the energy drinks and all that on the way home. One of the protein bars, energy drinks. That's his little generation. Mine was pie and chips, fish and chips, sausage and chips, pie chips, or chicken and chips.
He was avoiding the red zone.
Well, ask him about that. I'm intrigued.
We'll speak about the red zone later on. This goes back to pre-match. Well, it's more reaction now for down at the stadium. Curtis Jones is waiting to speak to Rob Jones.